Hey there, I'm Lainey Lipsky, parenting coach and master teacher. Parenting is hard. I totally get it, and I'm here to make it easier for you. Especially if you had a tough childhood or you've got a tough child now, I've got your back. So take a deep breath, relax, and check out this clip from my coaching group this week. And remember to hit like and subscribe if you like my vibe. Let's get started. And the experience was that, first of all, she called me up to share her day. And I do not take these moments for granted at all. Having teens who want to open up to me is a really, really big deal, and I get that. And I'm so thankful for all the work that I put in leading up to these years of them being teens so that they know that they can talk to me and I can listen without judging. I can even just listen without responding if that's what they need. I once went on a hike with my son and he was just talking. And I said, I said, do you want me to chime in at all, or are you just talking? And he was like, oh, I'm just talking. And I think it was a lesson for both of us. I think that the lesson for me was he needs to talk, and I don't have to be there to give him my opinion and to chime in all the time. That's not necessarily the kind of listening that he needs. And for him, I think the lesson was that I can just talk to mom. Like, this is going to be a safe space. And that was one example of how I've been planting the seeds for a really long time around this particular thing. So the fact that my teenage daughter asked to share with me was just such great validation for me as a mom. I felt really proud about that. I won't lie. And I don't mean to show off, but I'm just like I'm happy about that. It makes me feel really good. And as she was talking, I heard some things in there that my impulse was to have an opinion, right? Like I have thoughts about it. I'm listening, but I'm listening with curiosity and I'm listening without judging, but I have opinions too. And as she was talking, well, she sort of stopped and she said, and I said to her, I said, I have a question and I have a comment. Which one would you like? Or would you like either of them? Or do you just want me to listen? And she said, I want both. She said, but let me finish first. And I was like, okay. So I was definitely following her lead as a listener, right? Which is so important to hold that space for our kids so that they feel safe and that you're not just going to jump in with your opinion. And, once she felt fully heard by me, she was not in a defensive place. So I could say, well, I have the comment, are you ready to hear my comment? She said, yes. And I told her my thought about something and she was like, okay, I'll think about that next time. There was some feedback for her about how she handled something and could have maybe thought about it differently. And then the question I had was a real genuine question. It wasn't a it wasn't judgment veiled in a question. It was a real question. And it's really important that when we do ask questions of our kids, that they're genuinely curious questions. And one of my favorite questions to ask when my kids are having a tough time or coming to me with an issue that they're struggling with is, what's your plan? What's your plan to handle it? Like, do you have a plan? Or do you have thoughts about, or what are your thoughts about handling it, right? It doesn't have to be a plan, but how, what are your thoughts about handling it? And it's not a, there's so many ways to ask that question. Like if you ask it in a judgy way, they're going to feel it that it's judgy. And it can be in your tone or it can be very, very subtle, but they're going to pick up on those micro cues. And so asking your kids in a very neutral way, in a super, like really tap into your curiosity. Um, like, do you have ideas? Like, how are you going to handle it? Right? It was just very useful for me and kept that communication open with my daughter. And like I said, I hope that things continue to stay open, and I hope that she continues to want to share with me. And I, I don't know if that's going to be the case. I really don't, but I know that I can just, the more I can keep that door open, like people are often asking, how do you keep the communication door open with your child, or how do you open that door? And for me, the answer is about curiosity and letting them dictate your feedback, right? Like asking, do you want feedback or do you just want me to listen? Or um, do you want my opinion or do you just want me to, do you want me to be mom here or do you want me to be your friend here? Like, you know, not that we're in the position of being friends to our kids, but it's like, do you want me to give you advice that I'd give my friend or do you want me to sit here and listen to you as your mom, right? And it's different. It's different. And to ask them, I think shows real respect for them. And of course, this changes and morphs as our kids are older and get older. But even when my kids were younger, I would say, do you want me to just listen or do you want me to chime in here? Do you want feedback? Or when they were having trouble. I really hope this video was helpful to you. Feel free to share it and use the comments to ask a question or to request a topic for the future. We've got links below for free support with things like discipline, teaching your kids how to be more gritty, and how to be more patient with your kids, plus access to my free coaching group. So be sure to check those links out. And remember, we get one shot at parenthood. Our kids only get one shot at their childhood, so let's make it count. Click like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.